Good morning, everybody. Appreciate you being here. Obviously just kind of wrapping up Saturday's game. Was really going back and watching the film of the game and the way that we performed. I was really proud of the team. I know I said I was proud of them after the game. I mean, that was really mindset approach. But, being able to go back and watch the way that we played, I thought it was fast. It was physical. We had our mistakes that showed up and obviously things to improve upon. But I was proud of the way that our guys played. And, I told them that yesterday. You saw a passion and intensity throughout the course of the game. Defensively, we had about 3 plays that, every one of them count, but, really 3 plays that kind of stood out where, we have to be better. We had one bust in coverage that allowed us a 7 cut. They did a nice job on another route concept that, allowed an explosive play. And then, obviously we had the a misfit in the run game that, we just have to be better at. And, it gave up a big run. But, I was really pleased with the way that our guys, battled. We had too many penalties in the course of the game. Some things are technique that we can be better at. Other things are, we continue to push to control all things that we can control. But when you have 9 penalties, it's obviously too many. And in close games, it definitely can cost us, and it hurt us in a few drives. Defensively and offensively, with what we were trying to do. But I thought our third down defense and third down offense was extraordinary. Our defense was aggressive throughout. Impacted the quarterback. Officially, how many 6 sacks? Is that what it? Okay, we're at six sacks, which was great. It's great to see that type of impact. That we're able to make. I think it was 10 TFLs, which was a outstanding performance and plenty of explosive plays that were made. I thought our defensive backfield did a great job in coverage. Like I mentioned, we had the one bust, but I mean they were in position. Really forced the quarterback to have to hold the ball, a few times, which allowed the rush to get home. And I mean, it was a really, really impressive effort. Offensively, a lot of explosives. I mean, it was great to see. They pressured as much as they had pressured throughout the course of the year. I thought we handled that. They did some good things in their run game. I mean, I was still coming out of that game. I know I complimented their safeties at the beginning of the week, but those are 2 outstanding safeties. They did a wonderful job of making open field tackles. They were involved in the run game, really added an extra hat into the box that opened up opportunities in the passing game, and I thought Jordan did a really good job of taking what they were giving us. We got a few one-on-one opportunities that I know Keon was able to take advantage of. Jaheim had a big play. Kyle Morlock with the big play. You saw some of the other receivers that were able to be impactful. I mean, I thought Jordan distributed the ball really well. We had multiple receivers that made an impact. And then we were. The running game found its time and found its moments, and I thought we did a good job with it. Obviously, each game plan is going to be different. And we knew we wanted to try to attack and spread the field as much as possible, and anticipated that we would see some pressure and just to try to disrupt the run game. And I thought we did a good job of being able to keep a fair balance with that. But it did create the opportunity for the explosives, and I was proud of our guys for that. We did have the one ball that got to the ground, and then there was we had a couple guys slip in situations where on a couple of Jordan's passes one where Keon slipped down and was a near interception, and then just one thing technique wise on a route that we got to be better at. But we did not turn the ball over in that game. We were over 50% on third down, or we were 50% on third downs. Unfortunately, we did go into the red zone once and not come away with points. It was Ryan's first miss of the season, but even on that, we had a touchdown opportunity that we got to finish on in that drive. But I thought thought our guys responded well. Special teams once again was a big benefit for us. I thought Deuce Spann once again, he's showing the confidence that he's growing in the return game. I thought our kickoff coverage was fantastic. Just the way that the guys were working down the field. Our punt coverage. I thought our guys covered really well. We got some things we can be better at, when it comes to our punt, but. And then, obviously we had another impactful, punt return. So, I was proud of the guys, special teams wise, for how they're competing, and it allowed us to go and have a dominant performance there on the road, leading us into this week, which is another road trip, and a place that is a challenge to play. As you sit there and you just look historically. I mean, even this year, this is you got to go and you got to play at a very high level. And this is a football team that is. I mean, it's going to be tough. It's going to be physical. They're going to be aggressive. I think each week I get up and I say the same things about defenses that like to blitz and attack. And we found another one. It's this Coach Narduzzi does a wonderful job defensively, in being able to create challenges for opposing offenses, in what they do, and historically has been just such an impactful defense. I mean, this last game was really kind of an anomaly for them. With the lack of TFLs or sacks in the game, but you still were able to create a couple takeaways. But there's one of the top teams top defenses in the country in those statistical categories. We've seen them play at a very high level. And then, offensively, they went through a quarterback change, midway through the season. So you working to feel that out. You've seen them play at a high level. I know when they played Louisville, I think they scored 38 points against a really good team. And as they've continue kind of grow and form that identity of who they are, we know they want to run the football. That's something that is in their DNA. It's what they want to be. They've got some big play receivers, some guys that can really run on the outside, and obviously the quarterback that's shown potential, and that's something that we've got to just like each week focus on us, making sure that we're doing our job, being disciplined and growing in the areas that we need to continue to grow. Special teams will be a big part of this game as we go up. It's truly another week and another opportunity where we've got to grind away at it and go get better as a football team and all things that we're doing. But excited about the opportunity that's ahead, and looking forward to the week of preparation.
First question will be Ira on your right.
If you take away scrambles and sacks, you guys are running the ball, throwing the ball much more than you are running it compared to maybe last year. There's more designed passes than runs. Was that something coming into the year, senior quarterback, a lot of great skill players, that was an idea it might be, or is that just played out that way because of the defense?
Yeah, I mean a little bit of both. I mean I like our offense. I like what we're able to do. I think we got playmakers on the perimeter. We got and sometimes when you sit there and you look at it, there were a couple of run plays where there were throws because of what we got. And so I mean I can't we're pretty close in a sense of if you call a screen pass, that what is that? What is that necessarily going to be? Sometimes it's an opportunity to get a 5-yard outside zone that might pop and turn into something more, or it's you sit there and it's just the balance of where you're trying to attack on the field. Ultimately, we're going to do everything we can to score as many points as we can to put ourselves in a position to win a game. And so, but I do like the personnel that we have. I like the potential we have in the run game. Now, if people are going to stack the box, bring safeties in, and you have to be able to take advantage of one-on-one opportunities on the perimeter. Try to keep them off balance, and then whenever you can soften them up, it does open up things in the run game and allow our backs to be able to have space. And whether it's Jordan, being a part of that, whether in the read game or whatever that might be. So it's kind of both. I mean, yes, we like the receivers that we have. We've liked some of the matchups that we've got, and then on the flip side of it, some of it is what we're almost being forced a little bit in situations to do because of looks that we're getting.
Brendan on your left.
Some of the numbers for the pass game on defense are really top-notch nationally, so it's been a thing all season. Specifically last month, seems like it keeps getting better and better. I guess what is working so well about your pass defense right now?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a combination of all three levels. Early in the year, we had some communication things, we had some technique things that we had to clean up. I think our guys have really spent a lot of time. Coach Fuller, Coach Sertan, just Coach Shannon. Because it really does work at all levels of how you're trying to defend and cover, different concepts or routes, or whether it's man or zone, and I think those guys have done a really good job in building their confidence of what we want to do. And then, whether it's, man or zone, our guys are competing at a high level. I think we had 6 pass breakups the other day. Our corners are playing physical. Safeties are doing a good job in coverage. Obviously, when you have a pass rush and can put pressure on a quarterback, that's gonna definitely help. And I think our guys are all three phases are embracing what that needs to be and what that looks like. So I'm really pleased with the growth we've seen, but I think there's still even more steps that we can take as we continue to get better.
Coach, you had another opening drive score. Can you take me through kind of the preparation of writing the script during the week, and then why the opening drives have been so successful throughout the year?
Yeah, we actually don't start our script till really Thursday, and we'll do a Thursday, Friday look at it. Sometimes it'll change. It's something I've done throughout my career of being an offensive coach. I like to have a sequence. I like to have a thought, and it's sometimes it like I said, it could change, and there's plenty of times that we'll go on it, and hey, you might have however many plays in your thought process, but if you see something early, you go to it early. And other things, you might tell a story, you might be setting up things for later on down in the game. That's one of the fun part. And as an offensive staff, everybody plays a part in that, and so we have our routine of how that comes about, and fortunate to have good players that can execute at a high level. And as we go in, we try to put them in the best position to have an early, productive start, and they've done a really nice job of executing that.
On a wide receiver depth chart, guys expected back this week. How do you feel about that room coming about and getting a few of those guys back?
Yeah, we'll see where it goes throughout the week. Obviously, last week being down, 3 really good players. Johnny and Destin have both been starters throughout the course of the year. Hakeem has probably ascended as much as any player, but having those 3 guys out, it gave new opportunities. And one of my favorite plays in the game was Kentron's early first drive. He got one-on-one coverage, great throw by Jordan, great route. Being able to have an explosive play there on the first drive was big. Unfortunately, the other one was called back due to a penalty. But I thought that was big for him. To be able to see Ja'Kai. I know we've talked about him, and Ja'Kai's made so many great plays here. Throughout his first few years, and coming off the injury, just working to get back in that, and had a big post route in the middle of the field that got tripped up, or I think he would have scored on that. But it was good to see him kind of get into that rhythm, and obviously have some production there. But we're excited about the guys that have stepped up. Darion had a catch later in the game. The tight ends, the mix of our personnel of what we're able to do has really been good. But ultimately, if you get those guys back, it just helps with depth, with being able to keep guys fresh, being able to utilize all the skills. And so, I think as we're looking into this week, as it gets a little bit further down, we'll have a better clue of the availability. I know Johnny was out yesterday and got a chance to get some practice in, and so we'll see what that looks like as his week progresses. I know Destin and Hakeem are both going through their process, and you'll see what that looks like as we get to Tuesday.
Stay here for Brendan.
During your time as a head coach, typically your teams have gotten better as the season have gone on. Is there any methodology or reason for that specifically?
It's yes. It's about the work. It's about the we go, Coach Storms and myself, Jackson Schaefer, who's, does sports science. I mean, we sit down in the off season and we try to go through, every element of how we practice, how we structure things. What is that going to look like as the season goes on? But it truly is about mindset improvement, technique, fundamentals. Continuing to build upon the things that allow you to get better as the season progresses, because it still comes down to reps. And we want to be as confident in what we're doing and what we're facing and what we're seeing. And that's one of the things that's good is that early in the season, there were some ugly-looking plays, whether it's a coverage or whether it's an offensive-defensive play that you get to learn through those experiences. And if you miss out on those opportunities, then you get stuck kind of where you were. But our guys, they do a great job in taking ownership to the mistakes that are made, but then working to the correction and the application of how to improve that as we continue to move down the season. And that's something that we've held true to over the years. And when you get to November, I mean, that's where you want to be playing your best ball. And then as it continues to go on, you want to continue to grow from there. But our guys, they put in an awful lot of work. They're trained extremely well. We lift hard throughout the course of the season so that we're stronger at the end than we were at the beginning. And I think that's something that I know I mentioned these last few weeks of practice. I mean, you see it in the explosive efforts, the speed, the physicality. I mean, Trey Benson gets in the open field and he's really fast here. Deuce Spann, you've seen some of these guys. Keon. I mean, when you get out there and you run, I thought Kalen DeLoach on the one play. You look at Kalen DeLoach, Conrad Hussey on the run that broke. I mean, those guys were flying to just give us another snap, and that's something that's encouraging to see that guys are getting better as the years going on because of the way that they train. But yeah, it's always about the work.
You made put a big emphasis on special teams in the return game since you've been here and throughout your career. Now it seems like, I don't know, can it become contagious when the team sees what good returns can do and how important they are for just the course of the game?
No, absolutely. It all comes down to buy-in and ownership. And that's where even in the game Saturday, there was a punt return where, I mean, we were 10 guys on point and just a little technique or fundamental that could have been better. I think we would have had a chance to score on another one. And but you sit there and what I love, we had a special teams meeting yesterday coming out of the game, and you sit there and when we're in our special teams meeting, the intent of our players, some of our best players, it's awesome. And we had, I think we're up 41-16 in the game, and we're out there, we run out and we were forced to punt. And Bernardo Green's out there as one of our gunners. And I mean, Bernardo Green, Jarian Jones, Ja'Kai Douglas, Lawrence Toafili, those are our gunners on punt. And to see them, Zari Thomas had done a really nice job. Those guys, 41-16, Bernardo's jumping out there to go cover a punt. That gets me excited as a head coach, because you see buy-in and ownership of guys wanting to be better. Jarian Jones has been awesome in special teams this year. I pointed him out. Ja'Kai Douglas been remarkable. That's where you see those guys, and then in the return game. It's been each week. You see the growth, you see the development, guys that are buying in on it. Your coverage units on kickoff, that's where you see the fundamentals and the things that you work and you invest so much time. When that shows up on film, you know they're listening, they're applying, and it matters to them. And so, we're not a finished product when it comes to that, but you see the buy-in, and so yes, the confidence does show up, but it's not just in the return game; it's in all units that we know, because we saw it in the Virginia Tech game. We were able to respond from it, but man, that was a hit. That was a big hit, and but what do we do to improve from there? And I think the last couple of weeks, our guys have done a remarkable job. So yeah, it's we learn from all those experiences, but it definitely builds the confidence.
Mike, earlier you addressed the improvement in the secondary, and statistically it's obvious. At the same time, your defensive front, they're statistically not so good. As you would think they might be. Is that because you're playing with a lighter box, or?
In what regards? Are you saying just pure
statistically?
So sacks or what?
Well, no, in rush defense,
Well, I
defense
mean, I
against
think
the
when
run.
when you look at it, obviously we gave up a 51-yard run, which is not something that you want to have. But I think our guys have played well up front, and for us, you look at there were some times early in the season. I mean, like we played Boston College, and man, they had over 200 yards on 3rd and long situations. Like that was not good. Some of those were quarterback draws, counter, like things that obviously were huge and impactful in that game. And there's been times where we played, I think it was 4 of the top 5 rushing quarterbacks early in the season that really gave some challenges, and we faced some good running teams, and all those things show up. But when you look at yards per play, when you look at yards per rush, like we're getting better as the season's going on. So yes, we don't want to give up any explosive plays in the run game. We want people to earn everything that they get. But I think we're growing in that, and our guys are continuing to work hard to improve in all those areas.
Back over to your left for Brett.
On the plays for, I guess there was 2 of them, one with Byron Turner and one with DJ Lunny that were penalized. Both had positive stops for you guys. What can you teach them or go through technique to make sure those aren't positives don't become negatives moving forward?
Well, I mean, it's. Yeah, and we addressed it as a team. I mean, we can play with lower hands. I mean, that's a focus. I mean, Byron's, he gets the shoulder first, but the hand does get high. So you give an official to make a judgment call. I mean, what I feel about the call is what I feel about the call. Now with DJs, we want to see knockback. We want to see guys, because if you don't, it's going to work the other way. Early in the game, we hit a running back, we stop, and momentum stopped. If you don't take them to the ground and they keep moving forward, they're going to continue to allow the play to play, which is fine. It's great. So, knock back or on your feet. Now on DJs, you see a push to the ground. They called that excessive. So learn from it. Let's not be excessive. But we gotta finish plays, and when the whistle blows, stop. But we got to stop plays, and that's the hardest balance of what you do being a defender is sideline tackles. I think we've done a much better job when people get to the sideline of not having that extra step. But you see a lot of athletic players that push to the sideline and cut vertical, and if you assume it, well, it can hurt you if so make sure that we're doing everything to play the game within the rules and to be smart, to be safe with it. But it's just a lot of balance. I mean, that was a conversation I had with the sliding quarterback. How many times this year have we seen Jordan run and slide down, giving himself up, losing yards, but then somebody hits him? Well, if that's what are we sliding for? And it's just like that's where. We've got to be wise in those decisions, and we got to continue to teach tight hands, low hands, all those things, and control what we can control. But it's tough when a lot of these judgment calls. I don't envy the officials for having to make them, but we can control and be better in different ways, and that's what we're trying to teach.
All right, we got time for 2 more. Go to Jordan, third row on your left.
Coach, you're able to pull the starters midway through the 4th quarter. I know it wasn't a lot of time, but how important is it to get guys rest at this point in the year?
You said rest?
Yeah, just off the field so you can start preparing.
Yeah, I mean it's the rest part. I'm not so much. I love the fact we were able to get more guys in the game. Our guys are prepared to play. However many snaps they need to play. I think they're going to get better from all of them. But when you get a chance to go and see younger guys get more reps, get extended opportunities to see them in the moment, it's just it's so valuable for their growth and development, because that's what's real and what you see. I love seeing Tate be able to go out there and. He fired an unbelievable, pass to Darion, right on rhythm, right on time. I mean, in the moment, and you can work it in practice, but now he's out there on the stage. And, I think that's one of the things I've been really pleased with is, we've had opportunities to get Tate in the game. And, I don't even know what his quarterback rating is, but it's got to be pretty high. But, he's performing. And, you can say, all right, well, you had a good practice today. But when you put him in the game, you know, it's you got to go execute it, and you know, and he had some things that he got to be better at in that game, and those are things that are all teachable moments. And whether it's Jalen Early, young man that I think has an incredible future. At the end of one of the plays, guys are laying on top of our running back, and he goes and pulls one of the guys off. That's a penalty, and so that I mean, have we talked about it? Yes, but in the moment. Right? Was that something that registered in his mind? It wasn't malicious or anything that he did, but but it is something that showed up that, if he doesn't get that rep, I mean, what if that is a year from now, 2 years from now, in a critical moment, critical juncture, he's going to remember, and we made sure he remembered like that experience. And so those are the great things about getting younger guys opportunities to play.
Not accusing any other teams of doing this intentionally, but it seems like some other defensive players sometimes, when they really jog slowly out onto the field for substitutions. And does that affect you guys in terms of what you're doing? And then also, have you guys decided intentionally to not do that?
Well, no, I mean, so the delay sub, and this is where can we be? What can we control? Well, we can control when we sub players. And if we sub somebody late, we put ourselves in position for an opposing team to sub. But now, like Wake Forest in the game, on the field goal, we had a player that got injured, and we ended up getting an extra, an additional drive, utilizing timeouts, and one of our guys on field goal went into the locker room early. So we were late to get somebody onto the field. That's where we can be better. We can't do that. And so, and then obviously on offense, if we have a late sub, but it does need to be done in a timely fashion. And so if teams are really slow to sub, and it's intentional that they're delaying the game, they'll get a delay of game penalty. So it's things that we bring up with officials, and I mean, they have every right to substitute. I mean, that's it. And if somebody does against us, we have every right. But if you remember a year ago, we got penalized for a delay game, and once that ball snapped on, and you either have 12 guys on the field, it all counts. So if you get one guy running off and somebody hits a touchdown, that's a free play for them. So it's the that's one thing I ask the officials is consistency of understanding whether it's if they're trying to delay the game or are they substituting to get a play. But we've got to be smart in making sure we're not subbing too late in the play clock because you put yourself in jeopardy.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you guys. Have a great day.